And joining us on debate number one on the Newshour tonight, Dr Sudhanshu Trivedi, National Spokesperson of the BJP and Political Advisor to Home Minister Rajnath Singh, live from Delhi. Sunil Alagh will be joining us in a few minutes from now. He's the chairman of SKA Advisors, live from Delhi. K Misra is the president of the Navbharat Democratic Party, live from Bangalore. And interestingly, we have two blocks within the opposition joining us on the Newshour tonight. The first opposition bloc is represented by Junaid Matoo, who's a spokesperson for the National Conference. Now, that opposition bloc wants demonetization reversed. They want it rolled back. Block 2 of the opposition tonight is Clyde Crasto, spokesperson of the NCP, live from studios here in Mumbai, and Dr Fuad Halim of the CPIM. He's joining us live from Kolkata. My first question is to Junaid Matoo. Junaid, if we had the JDU today, we would have had, today you have opposition within the opposition. You have a party within the party. What Nitish Kumar says is different from what Sharad Yadav says. What your bloc of the opposition is saying is different from what the bloc led by the Congress is saying. So, Junaid, my first question to you is, will you accept that the opposition today is looking confused on the issue of demonetization?
Well, Niranjan, I would say that just like we understand that the Indian polity is not a monolith, the opposition is not a monolith. That is the essence of a democracy. While the opposition agrees in principle about the misery that this step has put the common man into, the methods of protesting against this might be different. The methods of escalating this issue might be different. But in principle, you have seen all opposition parties agree on the fact that this step has been misconceived. Yes. There was absolutely no preparation, and we have actually seen people die in queues in front of ATMs and banks.
Junaid Matoo,
so it is not a question of the opposition.
I'm afraid is exactly where there is no consensus. The parties have agreed to oppose, but there are parties, as Niranjan said, who are asking for a rollback, who think that the move itself is completely wrong. You've gone and called it draconian. I'm just going to talk to you about the joint statement submitted to the president also. And then there are those led by Nitish who say this is a great move, who are hailing the move, but saying that we're only questioning the implementation. So I'm afraid there really isn't too much consensus among the opposition. But I want to ask you, those who marched to the president hand in hand with Mamata Banerjee, I want to ask you, why would you call this a financial emergency? Why is it an emergency? You know what an emergency is? An emergency is what happened in Zimbabwe, for example, 231 million% inflation. An emergency is what happened in Argentina when the government froze all its citizens' accounts so that no one could take money out of the country. That is a financial emergency, Junaid Matoo. Where do you see a financial emergency in this?
Well, I'm not a financial expert. I'm an economist. I've studied economics. Let me tell you that every economy in the world is different. It's unique. I'm a student of economics. We understand that the Western economies are organized in formal economies, and that is the only component of the economy. The Indian economy has a huge portion of an informal economy, especially in the rural areas, especially in small towns. Artisans, small handicraft workers, people who depend on cash for their business. Most of the transactions in those businesses are cash transactions. So in a war against black money, are we also declaring a war on the poor little shopkeeper or the poor little farmer who is a part of the informal economy? We are not against curbing black money. We are not against any steps that curb black money. And we would support that. But the rollout of this scheme has been terrible. We have seen that the hardest hit are poor people. And these are not people who are corrupt. These are not hawala operators. These are not black money operators. These are ordinary poor people of this country who have been suddenly pushed into the throes of misery because the government couldn't actually plan the rollout of a scheme that it apparently has not.
Junaid, those are some of the questions we will ask the BJP. Junaid, those are some of the questions we will ask to the BJP, and yes, they need to face those questions as well. But I want to, on the point that Tina made, and I want to take the point of emergency forward. Junaid, consider this, and I want Sudhanshu Trivedi to answer this. Sudhanshu Trivedi, what is an emergency? For 130 days, you've had the unrest in Kashmir. One intelligence report after the other telling you that most of the unrest has been sponsored by elements across the border. That money is coming into India, into the valley through the Hawala route. Is that an emergency, Junaid Matoo? And should Should the National Conference and Umar Abdullah,
No,
and my question is to Sudhanshu
absolutely.
Trivedi. Sudhanshu Trivedi, should the National Conference be talking about the Hawala money today? Is that an emergency?
You have raised a very pertinent question. You have raised a very pertinent issue, because in this issue of demonetization, the issue of black money, which consists around 15 to 20% of the total economy, is one aspect. But as far as the terror funding and the disruptive activities funding is concerned, it is 100%. Whatever you have found in the bag of terrorists, dead or alive, these are huge heavy currency notes. So in my opinion, this decision has given a serious blow to the backbone of terror funding. That's why you have witnessed that in the last week, there is some peace returning back to the valley. Now the examinations have come, and despite 3 months of disruptive activities, 95% of the students have appeared. In Badgaon, it is 98% of the students have appeared much more than the last year.
Yeah.
So it means this further substantiates the suspicion that there was a funding involved and there was a money involved which has been provided to disrupt the activities which have suddenly got on the
Absolutely
hold or gone a stand. That's why.
Let me answer.
There is a problem with Naxalites.
I want to come in there.
The problem with the drug mafia of Punjab and all those who were involved in the illegal and disruptive activities, they are 100% blocked.
Junaid,
The black money portion is 15-20% blocked, but the terror and disruptive activities are 100% blocked.
Yeah, Junaid, I'm happy you pointed
Mr. Trivedi, hear me out.
And the national security.
Hear me out.
Junaid, I want to put a fact and you can take it forward. Junaid, I want to put one fact here and you can take it forward with him, and I want to bring the other panelists in as well, but Junaid, I'll come to you first. Junaid, consider this. I have with me a table from intelligence sources within the security establishment in the valley for the years 2014-2015. Because you spoke about the national security argument, Indian currency flowing in from Pakistan. Indian currency flowing in from Pakistan in the year 2014. 2,75,500. Year 2015, I'm only talking about fake currency. Total amount 5.5 lakh. Fake currency close to 2 lakh. This year itself, you've had close to 4 lakh rupees coming in. Now, this is just one report. Now, there is proof because you spoke about national security, you spoke about emergency, and I brought it back to Kashmir and the fact that national security is also an aspect that you must consider. Will you consider that such a move, what the government has done today, will choke the Hawala routes of money coming into the valley?
Absolutely. Absolutely not. It would be insulting my own intelligence to say that, black money or these routes have something to do with Hawala. Hawala exists in the Kashmiri conflict with the complete approval of both Indian and Pakistani intelligence agencies. Hawala couriers who bring in Hawala money to Kashmir
are you saying the state
are
allows
the
that?
same couriers
That's a big
who bring
allegation
in
you're
money
making.
from Delhi as well as money from Islamabad.
Junaid, you're making a big allegation. You're saying the state is allowing
this is
it.
what Director IB has said.
Sudhanshu Trivedi, you want to answer it?
Let me finish. You ask my question. Let me finish.
Your government that it might be during the consent, but as far as our government is concerned, it's not at all possible.
Let me finish. I don't hold a brief for the Hurriyat. I don't hold a brief for Pakistan. If you have intelligence inputs that Pakistan is flushing, the operators of some sort of a conflict prolongment in Kashmir with slush money, I'm sure you have your substantiated sources.
So Junaid Matoo,
but that is not the only reason that there is strife in Kashmir. There is stone pelting in Kashmir because of a political sentiment.
Firstly,
People, 100 kids don't die, madam, because of 5 lakh rupees. 100 kids don't die because of 5 lakh rupees.
So
let us go back to the demonetization.
Demonetization. Let me speak. I'm trying to ask you something.
The premise of demonetization was war on black money.
Be courteous. I'm trying to ask you something. Junaid Matoo, I'm trying to ask you something. Thank you. Now, what I'm saying is, firstly, you're saying that Hawala continues, the Hawala transactions and, that funding terror and the unrest and whatever in Kashmir continues with the consent of the government is firstly a very serious allegation. And your party has also been in government there before. So we're wondering if you know something we don't, we'd like to. Secondly, if you're asking about a direct connection between terror and this cash, this parallel economy, this funding, this, the counterfeit money, let me tell you that report that Niranjan was citing, the Jammu and Kashmir police report, has also said this is from the terrorists who have been killed by our security forces. These are the terrorists who've been encountered over the last 2-3 years. There are specifics that each terrorist who infiltrated carried fake money on his person between 40 to 50,000 rupees. Now, knowing fully well that there is this clear a link between counterfeit currency and terror, why should you be complaining about a crackdown?
Well, if this measure puts curbs on that, activity, it hits terrorism. We would be the happiest in the country. We suffer because of terrorism.
Well, exactly.
But that is not the only thing at play here. We are a country of more than 120 crore people. You cannot punitively conceive a very, half-hearted policy without taking precautionary measures, without having a plan of action, and push people into queues that are 1 mile long, and try to disrupt the informal economy of this country, and then try to pile this whole on our conscience in Kashmir that it was done because there was terror funding in Kashmir. And you asked me a question about Hawala money, madam. Hawala money comes in crores, and that is not fake currency, that is real currency. Anybody who lives in Kashmir knows.
Fake currency has also been seized.
And this is a former director of the IB who has said, please listen to me, a former director of the IB has said that slush money comes into Kashmir from both IB and ISI, and there was a point where IB also paid Hurriyat leaders. So please also talk about that slush money which comes in from IB to Hurriyat leaders, not only that slush money which comes from ISI to Hurriyat.
No, you know what? I don't think, you're making a very big allegation once again. I'm not going to, respond to that. I think the BJP has responded to that, and you can have a debate with them.
The former director of IB has made that allegation.
Okay, he is saying like this. Then you ask the Hurriyat leaders. From the government side, I am making it very categorically clear that nothing of this sort is there. Then ask the Hurriyat leaders. Are they taking money from the government?
No,
I don't know. You will know and they will know.
Not even getting into that, because like we said, that's a very serious allegation coming up, and that's not what we're debating here. But I think we need to bring the other panelists in, and let me get Clyde Crasto and Dr Fuad Halim in now on this. So Clyde, what essentially is the problem? We've already established that there are various degrees of problems that the opposition parties have with this move of the government. While some want a complete rollback, others are in fact hailing the move and saying, but we are a little worried about implementation. Where exactly do you stand? And I want to ask you a pointed question. Let's take into account what Mayawati has said, for example. She in fact said that, is this really about black money and corruption, or is this a political move? Now that little statement of hers actually reveals a lot. Is that why all the political parties are so worried? If you are seeing this, and I mean Mayawati when I say that, if you see this as a political move, well then for some reason this crackdown worries you as a political party. What is the connection? It's obvious to everyone. So what really is the problem, Clyde?
You have to understand, the exact motive or the meaning of her statement only she will be able to explain to you. What I'm getting at here is, okay, it's a very good thing. What is happening now, this reform that is happening, it's a step in the right direction, no doubt about that. We welcomed it right on the day one when this was said, that we need to flush out black money and all those things have to be done. Now the other aspect here is, I've been hearing during this debate we began with, let's talk about Kashmir, talk about terrorism, Hawala, and how the valley is peaceful. Sure enough, welcome. I mean, the point here is, if all this was thought about, all this was so well planned, within this planning, didn't they plan about the situation of the rest of the country? Didn't they think about the rest of the people of the country, the other citizens of the country, what they are going to go through, what they are going to suffer, how they are going to be able to get the new currency with them? I mean, you need financial minds to come together and think about this. And when you're running a country, I'm sure there are big financial minds, intelligent minds that come together and put this thing together. Now a question here is that when you have banned this currency of 500 and 1,000 rupee notes, 86% of the currency that was used in the country was the 500 and 1,000 rupee notes. Now when 86% is suddenly banned, don't you think it would create a panic situation? I mean, you were not prepared as to how the banks would give out this money. You had not thought about recalibrating the ATM machine. I mean, it's been said on record that it's going to take 2 to 3 weeks to recalibrate the machines. So when you're doing something like that, but you are not planning it so right. I mean, there are 33 people have died.
Yeah,
33 people have died because of all this. So where is the planning? Explain to me, where is the planning? What has been planned? It's all good to talk, all good to say that I have point A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You can go on till Z if you want to, 1 to 1,000. But what on ground level, on reality, we all have gone out to the streets. You have gone out to the streets, and you've seen everything. And look, the common man is suffering. The money that you were trying to flush out and the target that you were having, those are the people that are not there in any of the queues today.
No, I agree
They're
with
not
you.
there in lines trying to get the money out.
We'll put some of those
questions.
questions.
On and then you start have things like the indelible link and things like that.
Clyde,
it's not working
Clyde, we'll put some of those questions to the BJP. I told you we will dedicate a section to asking some questions to the government and the BJP. Now I want to ask you, because I know why parties like the NCP and Trinamool Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party are very worried. Some parties want to roll back. Let's also tell our viewers, remind our viewers that today there is an opposition bloc 1 led by Mamata Banerjee, Arvind Kejriwal and the National Conference. There's another bloc, Congress left, JDU. Now they don't want a rollback, but people like Mamata Banerjee and Arvind Kejriwal want a rollback. Why are people like Clyde Crasto worried today? It is because an analysis done of funds received by political parties, and this is between the years 2008 and 2012. I'm citing a day.
How can you speak for me?
I'm asking you.
No, did I say I was worried? No. How can you speak for me?
Parties.
No, you just said like, no, 1 minute. You mentioned my name.
I said parties.
People like Clyde Crasto.
I said parties.
You mentioned my name. No, don't do that. No, you can complete your point. Don't say that I'm worried. I'm not worried. I'm happy that this is happening. My party is happy this is happening. It's a fact that it's happening. You mentioned my name. Don't do that. Don't mention names and then say don't get jittery. No, that's question of jittery. Don't put words in my mouth and don't explain.
Listen to me.
Our party.
Clyde, listen to me. 1 second. I said parties like the NCP. I said parties. I said once.
We are not. Why are you saying it we are? Do you know that we are? How do you know?
Okay, 1 second. Listen to. Why don't you just listen? Clyde, don't get touchy.
We are happy that this is happening.
Okay. I'll tell you why parties are worried.
All our funding is transparent. All our political funds are
No, 1 second. Junaid, I want to bring in Sunil Alagh here. Sunil Alagh, what is the real reason why parties are worried? Because I have some data here that parties during elections between 2008 and 2012, a study showed that 83.8% of all the money that political parties receive is through cash.
That includes BJP.
Is that the real reason? Let's get down to the real reason.
What they got from Adani.
Yeah, Sunil Alagh and Junaid Matoo.
But look,
that also includes BJP, the largest party in the country right now. How do BJP leaders, how are their children taking picture with wards of 1,000 rupees
everybody has spoken. Can I speak for just 2 minutes?
Are you telling me that no money has ever been seized from a BJP leader ahead of elections?
Junaid, pull back. Let Sunil Alagh speak. You'll get your turn.
Full of slush money.
You'll get your turn, Junaid. Junaid, you'll get your turn.
Okay, 1 second. Mr. Matoo, you've been speaking from the start to finish. Let me finish for just a few minutes.
Junaid, let him speak.
They're all going on at the same time.
Junaid, you'll have to pull back. Junaid, I want Sunil Alagh to speak now. Sunil Alagh, go ahead.
Mr. Matoo, you have spoken. All I'm saying is that I don't belong to any political party. You all are going to blame each other, but I like Mr. Modi and therefore I'm a clear bias towards him. Please understand, there were 2 issues which were involved in this. There was, apart from the fact that whether you're bringing money for terrorism, fake, counterfeit and black money, all 3, you all can debate it till the cows come home. He's put it all together. He is a person who is saying, look, if secrecy is to be maintained, why didn't you calibrate all the 2 lakh machines? You start calibrating it, you're telling everybody something is going to happen and they will all clear their accounts up. Again, why have you made the 2,000 rupee note? Why didn't you make it the size of 1,000 rupee notes?
Absolutely not.
If you did that again there would have been a confusion. He had to maintain secrecy. 1 second. Let me finish, please. I've heard all of you all. Can I just finish? No, okay, please. You can let me finish. Then you can go ahead. I will leave the thing and you all carry on arguing. I didn't butt into when you said you were talking about anything. All the political parties are complaining. Poor man, common man, all that. Very good. BJP will lose in UP. If the common man is being affected, you should be rejoicing that he's taken a step which is against the common man. You please understand, you all are not bringing in. Can I just finish? You
unfortunate
talk to
argument.
the Odisha Chief Minister. No channel has gone to Odisha. Please,
we're definitely coming to you
one
next,
second.
but-
Oh God,
Yeah,
yaar.
let Sunil
You all
Alagh
please
just
argue
conclude
like
his
mad.
point.
Can I
Carried
finish?
out only in
Can I
cases of
finish and then you can
demonetization.
argue?
Sunil Alagh,
ATMs are
conclude your point.
regularly
Conclude your point,
calibrated.
please.
Oh God,
Gentlemen,
yeah, they
allow
won't let
him
you
to make
finish.
his point.
This is the trouble with all politicians.
No, Junaid,
They
let him
must
finish
butt
his
in.
point. Just not
They
fair.
must
Go ahead,
butt
Sunil
in.
Alagh, go ahead. Sunil Alagh,
We have
complete
to
your
hear.
point.
Forget it,
Let's
yeah.
have
Okay.
Sunil
Go
Alagh's
ahead,
audio,
go ahead.
please.
You speak.
Yeah, Sunil, please go ahead.
All I'm saying is that look, if the common man has been affected, all political parties should rejoice. Go back to your states and get BJP out. I'm saying that. If that's working, it's not. And that is why you are creating a huge hue and cry. Go to Odisha. I've gone to
Okay.
Odisha. There is no lines because the Chief Minister said, I support Mr. Modi. Then all finished. Nobody is covering Odisha. Nobody is covering all the South Indian states which are all running.
No, but
North
see,
India is where
yeah,
cash
but Sunil
was.
Alagh, in all
I
fairness-
went to Standard Chartered
Sunil
Bank
Alagh,
day
in all
before yesterday.
fairness, there are
In
lines
30
though.
minutes,
There
I
may
got
not
my
be
money.
lines in certain
Please
states.
understand. Don't
Yeah,
exaggerate
fair.
everything.
See, for every
Comment
person
in.
Now
who's
give
getting
it.
their money
Yes,
easily,
I agree.
Sunil,
The execution
Sunil,
could
for
have been a
every
little
person who's
better.
getting their money
Wait for
easily,
3 weeks.
there is also another
Wait
person
for
who's
3
not
weeks.
getting it easily. Okay, so those are valid questions too. I'll come to that. But Fuad Halim, I think he raises a very important point.
I am saying
you all feel
I did
truly
not. I
that
stood in
politically
line.
this is a
I
blunder.
did not get it easily.
Yeah.
I stood in line and got
Okay.
it. Okay, can you?
Let us
Okay,
understand.
can
I
you
get
go
the
all
point
over
that you're
Bombay?
making, that
I've
it's
just
okay,
come from
and
Bombay
that
today.
majority of the
To
people
go to
say that this is a
the
small
area near
price to
Babulnath.
pay for the larger
Bank of
good.
Baroda
Okay.
had only 20
Okay,
people.
let me
You
get
only
Fuad Halim
highlight
in on
where there
this.
are
Now,
100
Fuad
people.
Halim,
Please.
if this
Mr.
move of
Think
the
of what we are
government
doing.
Outside this
is
studio,
truly,
You're not
Mr.
going to
truly
sacrifice
just outside
people.
this studio,
This
when
is
you
not a
enter the
permanent
government,
the common
there were
man.
about
This is not a
50 people
permanent
standing in
problem
line when I
for
came
please.
into the studio.
Nobody's
Yeah,
saying
so
there's no queue.
if
No, but
Nobody's
you're saying there are only 15
No, there are
people.
queues. There are
If this is
queues.
happening,
We're accepting it. There are
You're
queues.
still very happy.
Example, I'm giving
BJP will
another
never get
example.
elected
Gentlemen,
again.
we'll come to that. I'm trying to get Fuad Halim in. Fuad Halim, if this is the fact, then shouldn't all parties be rejoicing and saying, well, this is a political blunder from Prime Minister Modi, and this is going to mean that from
Yes.
here on, all the state elections that
support
we have
Mr. Modi
leading up
in
to
the wrong moves he's
2019
making.
is going to mean that the BJP is going to lose. I mean, is it that the parties are, if they truly feel this is a blunder,
Yes.
then politically, don't you
So
think
support
it's,
him, no?
you know, it's,
Why are you
it's
against
one up
it?
for you?
But it's very clear, we do
Fuad
not
Halim,
value
please.
all decisions.
That's the point I'm raising.
Value all decisions taken by the government to be only directed towards electoral gains. There is social construction. There is construction of India. There is a situation in India. There are deaths that are occurring that needs application of mind. Everything in India cannot be construed to be directed towards only elections. But I'll come back to the initial part of the conversation. That is, if you look at the government today in Delhi, we've seen the government stands divided. If you look at the constitutional construct of India, then we've seen a decision taken by the Prime Minister, who is the head of the political executive, which is being rebuffed by the Supreme Court. So the constitutional structures are questioning themselves, one against the other. If you look at the NDA itself, we've seen the Shiv Sena break ranks and go to the president
Wait,
today.
one
second,
second.
it's convenient, no, one second.
The government itself is today divided. Let's be very clear about this
Factual.
decision.
like
He's
the
giving
opposition.
again wrong
As far as-
Like the
information.
opposition.
As
One
far,
second.
Whereas
as
the
far
Supreme
as the
Court
left
rebuffed
is
him.
concerned,
Fuad, like the opposition, which is also divided. Let's not forget
as far as the
that.
left
Fact
is
check.
concerned,
Fact
we
check.
are
Don't
very
say wrong things,
categorical
please.
that the impression that the Bharatiya Janata Party would like to make, that they are applying their mind towards the black money question, that is the premise that we are challenging. We are saying that this demonetization is not going to bring into the kitty the entire black economy pool. Let's be very clear about that. So this is a kind of hoax, and you're trying to pull the wool over the eyes of the people.
Can I
of
come
India.
in?
One second. Yeah,
Number
RK
two.
Mishra. RK Mishra.
Number two, let
Okay,
me finish.
quickly, 30
Let me
seconds.
finish. I
Fuad,
haven't
30 seconds.
interrupted
Fuad, make your
anybody.
point, 30 seconds.
Number two, we have had the minister, Mr. Piyush Goyal, comment on the floor of parliament today that it is only the people who are with black money that are being affected. Let's be very clear. He could have been more sensitive. The entire population of India is being affected by this demonetization.
No,
The
I think his
people who
quote
are
was-
with black
One
money,
second,
they are going to lose a very
Fuad,
small
we
part
have
of their
understood, please,
collection.
understood.
But the whole of India is undergoing
undergoing misery at this point of time. A little bit of sensitivity on behalf of the government and
Fuad, your point taken.
Can I come in? Parliament. Is it too much to expect?
Can I come in? The point is over.
And number three, let me
quickly,
finish.
Fuad, they're taking forever now.
The third point I'd like to make very
number three,
clearly
going on
this
like
question.
a,
As of today, the government
Fuad, let
has
others
not been able
speak
to
now. Give others a
submit
chance, Fuad.
what amount of black money has been recovered. You know, today we are 8th day into the process. The government has
1 minute.
has yet
Okay.
not told
Fuad.
the people of India.
Boss,
as to
you have
what
no
quantum
case.
of black
Fuad,
money
one
has
second.
You have
Fuad,
no
one second.
case.
Fuad.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
You guys have no
Fuad, one
case.
second. Fuad, 1 second. RK Mishra, 1 second. Just pull back. Let me just
Can
stop.
you ask
Fuad.
him to stop?
Yeah, 1 second. Fuad,
Can you ask
please
him to stop, please?
Fuad, you've spoken. You made 3 points. Let RK Mishra respond. I want to make 1 point, and RK Mishra, you can take that forward. RK Mishra, can the left, which is part of a divided opposition, the same opposition which questioned the Mamata side of opposition, saying it's foolish to march to the president, today complain? Consider this. Malda has emerged as a fake currency racket hub. Doesn't it reflect the failure of the part of the left government which ruled West Bengal for 34 years? Half the fake currency coming into India comes through Malda, through the border. RK Mishra, you can take it forward with Fuad Halim.
I think left, of course, in this country, thankfully, is an ideologically bankrupt party. So I don't think much about what left says or does. As far as Mamata Banerjee and AAP and all these people are concerned,
black money.
Fuad Halim, let him speak.
That's very kind
Fuad
of
Halim, let him speak.
Understood.
Fuad Halim,
It is fine. It is fine. You allowed others to hold the money.
Yeah.
You allowed others to hold money. Malda has become the fake currency capital of the country, which is fine. So you didn't hold it, but your prodigies hold it. Otherwise, you could not fight the elections. Very simple. This Mamata and AAP and all these people who are asking for rollback, and while at the same time saying that we are against black money, I would like to ask them, do they have any solution, or they simply only opposing? They have not said a single thing.
Please do not.
Can you keep quiet now, please?
Shiv Sena does not want to roll back.
Fuad, let him finish.
Fuad,
Let him finish.
complete
There's
and
more
fact check.
questions to be put back to you
Yeah.
and Clyde.
Learn to listen.
Let him finish. Let him conclude.
Yeah, let him
his
finish.
point.
Let him finish.
Listen, please.
Yeah.
Learn to listen, please. Please listen. Then only you will be able to counter when you listen. Correct? There is no two ways that there is inconvenience to people. And nobody said there will be no inconvenience. You are trying to create the mess of last 60, 70 years. 86% of the currency is in high denomination, and let's assume 30 to 40% or 50% is informal economy, of which 50% is black economy. When they talk about informal economy, they're essentially talking about a small percentage which is being exchanged in cash by small traders and this thing, but rest is all black money. So whatever money does not come back to RBI, which will be tune of 4 to 5 lakh crores, is essentially money which has been destroyed. They are not going to stand the queue. Obviously, the person who has 20 crores in the house, why will he stand in the queue?
Yeah.
That money will simply not come.
So
that
Fuad
money is
Halim,
being burnt.
exactly.
Please,
Fuad Halim.
let me just complete. Let me just complete.
RK Mishra, I just want to, I want to get them in.
One more point.
Get them in on a
This
couple of
Arvind
important
Kejriwal.
points that you
I
made.
disagree
I'll come
with
back to you.
totally.
I'll come back to
Arvind
you. I
Kejriwal.
think there's two very important points, and Fuad Halim, let's get your response on this first. One second, Fuad, listen to the question, then respond. Fuad Halim, listen to the question, then respond. I'm asking you what RK Mishra just said. You know, if you are going to criticize the government's implementation of modus operandi of this entire operation, the question to you is, how would you have done it differently? How has anyone done anything?
Yes.
Has anybody done anything? No. Who has done anything about black money?
Listen.
And
Arvind
secondly,
Kejriwal-
if you are going,
Arvind Kejriwal has done nothing.
One second, RK Mishra, please.
What has he done? He came against the corruption. He came against the black money.
If you were to implement a huge move like this to try and crack down, RK Mishra, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to allow at least me to speak. So Fuad Halim, the question here is that if you were to implement something like this, which has to be done in a secretive manner, how else would you implement it? Would you give everybody 1 month notice, the entire country, all political parties, that you know we're going to do this, but we'll do it 1 month later? Isn't it obvious that anyone who has any black money would have found ways to get rid of it in that much time? Is there any other way but to immediately impose this at a sort of, 2 to 4 hours notice? What other option is there?
Well, if we were there, then we would have implemented the 3 acts that are already there with the government. There is one act which is with Cyprus and with Switzerland. There is another act which is with Mauritius. And there is another act which generalizes all over the world. And the bulk of the black economy that moves out of India, that needs to be brought back. And the list, the names list is with the Prime Minister.
What?
He just has to expose it and
You have
Okay,
no
one second.
clue how the word works.
RK Mishra.
You have no
RK
clue
Mishra.
how the word works.
Let us
RK
finish.
Mishra. RK Mishra.
Secondly,
You know, Fuad.
secondly,
No, it's nice. It's nice to speak. Fuad, it's nice to speak. Fuad, it's nice to speak now. One second, Fuad.
They should be identified immediately.
Fuad.
And action should be taken. You know, see, the black economy.
Fuad, you just won't stop.
But you are in the Congress government.
In circulation.
Fuad, you just
You
won't
are in the
stop.
UPA government.
One second.
Big part of
RK
the
Mishra.
entire black
RK Mishra, let's
You are in the UPA government.
Yeah. He was part of the UPA government.
Entire debate
Fuad.
where the black economy
You are part of the UPA government. Why didn't you do
Fuad,
it?
why don't you just... Okay, one second, Fuad.
Why
Yes, you
you
told
did
us
not
how
do
you would
it
have done
before
it.
this?
You told
You
us
are
how
in the
you would have
UPA
done it, right?
government.
No, it's very nice because Fuad Halim
No, you would have
is
done it.
telling
You
us
were
how
in
the
the
left
UPA
would have done
government. Why
it.
didn't you do it?
Yeah, exactly. If you had a chance,
Yes,
Fuad,
you were in the
you were a
UPA
part of the
government.
UPA
You brought
government.
the government
Why didn't you do it?
down.
One second. The left...
Why
One
did you
second.
do it?
No. It's nice to dream about how you would have done it, Fuad. Fuad, 1 second.
Yeah, but why
You had
did you
34 years. Fuad, you had 34 years.
CPIM would have done had
No.
the CPIM been in
One
power.
second.
CPIM has never been in power.
No.
Let's be very clear about
Yeah,
it.
what did you do?
So,
But what did you do,
on the
Fuad?
question
Let's
of
talk about that.
demonetization.
Fuad, please listen to me, Fuad. You start and you just don't stop. 1 second. I just want to ask you a question. You're talking about how you would have done things differently. What did you do differently when you were in power for 34 years? In 2008 and 2009, the Standing Committee on Finance has identified Malda, Murshidabad districts of West Bengal as the hubs of counterfeit currency in India. If 250 out of 10 lakh notes, 250 out of 10 lakh notes in circulation in India are estimated to be fake, half of that is coming from Malda and Murshidabad. You are talking about how you would have done things differently if you were in power. 1, you were in power during the UPA. 2, you were in power for 34 years in West Bengal. What did you do differently? And you know what? I don't want you to start right now. I want Sudhanshu Trivedi to come in now, and then I'll toss it back to you.
You want me to? You ask me a question and you don't want me to answer it.
I'm saying that you didn't do anything.
I must say.
Fuad, I'm saying you didn't do anything. I said it's nice to talk about how you would have done things differently. Fuad, I said it's nice to talk about how you could have done things differently, but you did not. Let's talk.
The fabric of West Bengal to ensure that all these activities.
I'm going to give you 30 seconds to make your point, and then I'm going to move to Sudhanshu Trivedi.
A very long border with Bangladesh and the attendant problems of having a border with Bangladesh, we have as a state government with the limited capacity played our role in ensuring that the national security gets priority, so that the social engineering and the social construct does not allow these forces to perforate us. So
you did nothing for 34 years.
34 years.
You did nothing for 34 years. Sudhanshu Trivedi, can the left and the Trinamool Congress both be complaining today?
We are seeing a breakdown of that social fabric.
No, one sec. Don't talk about social fabric. You know where the money is coming from. All the counterfeit currency is coming from that side of the border. Please, let's not be blind to the reality. 34 years.
Disagreement on facts.
No, both Trinamool Congress and the left, Trinamool Congress and the left, which failed to act on the counterfeit currency, Malda and Murshidabad are the ones complaining today. Sudhanshu Trivedi, can Mamata Banerjee or Sitaram Yechuri be complaining about the black money cleanup when the left hasn't acted for 34 years?
If you look at the parties who are opposing, look at their entire character. You yourself has mentioned whether it was left or whether it was Trinamool Congress. In both the regimes, Malda and Murshidabad became the hub of black money and the counterfeit currency. Then, Mamata Banerjee is leading, who is having a suspicion on Sharma. Then Lalu Prasad Yadav, those who are supporting the fodder scam. Then Mulayam Singh and Mayawati, both at one point of time were charged for the disproportionate asset case. And I was not disturbing when you were talking. Then let me complete my sentences. Then Rahul Gandhi, who is at present on a bond of 50,000 rupees on an allegation of a scam of 5,000 crores on National Herald case. So look at all the character of all those persons, all the leaders who are opposing. On the other hand, the leaders like Naveen Patnaik and Nitish Kumar are not opposing. So this is a distinct difference. Those who are having allegation of corruption are taking the other side, and those who are having a clean record are having the other side. And unfortunately, these leaders, whether it is TMC or Congress or Mulayam Singh or Lalu, are those leaders who always took the side of those who are accused of terror. So in my opinion, whether it is the issue of black money or whether it is the issue of supporting those who are suspect of terror activities, all these parties are standing on one side. So in my opinion, in both the duo issues of black money and national security, these parties are doing a serious damage to the country. And one more sentence I would like to say. Let me complete one more sentence. On the issue of preparation, I would like to say, all the preparations were made by the government. But
yeah. No, please listen, hear me out on this now. So, what you've said, fine. You're saying that those who actually do stand on an anti-corruption plank and anti-graft plank are the ones who are supporting the government on this. You've taken the names also. But I have to ask you that in terms, there are some parties who are not asking for a rollback. They are saying that we have a problem with the way it's been implemented. And I have to ask you, therefore, you're saying you're taking steps to alleviate the concerns of the common folk, and we know the Prime Minister's holding meetings for this. But I'm just giving you some examples. People are facing so much trouble. For example, in Bastar, people traveling 20 kilometers to reach the closest ATM. In Arunachal Pradesh, the Anjor district, people traveling 100 kilometers to avail of banking services. I have some more examples here, Sudhanshu. This is in Bidadi. People had to travel 25 kilometers from their villages around, the hometown in Bidadi to the city to withdraw cash. And there's so many such examples. There's no point reading them all out. You know that there is a real problem in some places. Yes, in most cases, people are willing to go through the little bit of inconvenience, stand in lines. But there are parts of our country where people literally do not have banks or ATMs for several kilometers. There are real people facing this problem too. It's not just the ones who are having trouble are black money hoarders. There are all those tea estate workers in West Bengal who are paid by the day, daily wage laborers. They are struggling, are they not?
I accept that some of the people are facing problem, and definitely some people are facing very serious inconvenience. But this was very much clear in our mind right from day one, when Prime Minister in his address to the nation of 8th has categorically said that definitely we will have to face a problem, but I am having full confidence that the people of India, who has always stood for the nation and for the better future of India and them as person, definitely they will stand along with the government. As far as the preparation is concerned, government has done the best possible preparation, because beyond a certain limit, if you go the preparations well in advance, it will infringe the secrecy. So keeping in view the secrecy, the best preparations have been done by the government, and subsequently our government is taking, for example, you can deposit 2.5 lakhs, you can withdraw 24,000 rupees per week. So I don't think a poor man requires more than 24,000 a week for any spending. Second thing, the 2 hours for first 2 days, the extra banks were open.
No, I think
non-working days, the government was okay. Third thing, then the army helicopters and the air force helicopters and planes were used to carry the currencies. The medical stores are allowed. The hospitals are allowed.
Sudhanshu, I think the question was...
We all know that in theory. We all know that in theory. Tina, I'd like to get to that point where you mentioned a little while earlier. What you said was, why don't these opposition parties just go ahead and say that this thing is a blunder?
Junaid, you respond next.
I need to tell you that, we are not saying that this move is a blunder. We are not saying that the move is not right. The move is the right move in the right direction. It's a great move. But the planning, the execution, the implementation of this move is an absolute blunder. I mean, you gave examples of remote rural areas. I mean, we have to take all that into consideration. When you're planning that, didn't you ever think of all these problems would come up? Are you trying to say that we're going to have trial and error with playing with people's lives, trial and error with making people suffer? It's very easy to say that we thought about this, thought about that.
Have been taken in advance.
Sir, Mr. Pandey, I didn't interrupt you. No, Mr. Trivedi, sorry, Mr. Trivedi, I didn't interrupt you. I did not interrupt you when you were talking. Let me finish my point, then you can come back again.
Okay, 30 seconds, make your point. 30 seconds, make your point.
My point here is, Tina, 1 minute. Can I just finish, please?
By real people are very real problems.
My point is, it's very good to say that we've done this provision, done that provision, but come down to the streets, come down to and meet the people that are there. It's not just about the common man. There are working class, there are middle class, See the suffering they are having. You are talking about rural areas. You know, the people have not, the money hasn't
That's what
reached the
I'm trying
ATMs.
to say.
Didn't you plan that?
Most of the people are saying they are suffering, but still they are
plan about these things because what? You know that this, it's okay that these people may suffer.
problem is there
It's
in the
okay
mind
for
of
them to have the
political
pain.
opponents.
You know,
And those common man who are standing in the queue and ready to sacrifice or ready to bear some pain for the sake of the country.
No, sake of the country, yes, but aren't these people that make the country? These people are the citizens of the country.
It was because of the need for secrecy that certain things could not have been put in place before. Explain that more, please, because the fact is that the problems people are facing are very real, Sudhanshu. They really are.
He's
There has to be a
accepted.
back-end.
No, he's
simple
accepted
point.
there is a challenge.
One last point, simple point.
Yeah.
Something about recalibration of ATM machines. A simple point like that, it's gone on record to say that it's going to take 2 to 3 weeks. But some ATM companies are saying that it will take even a month to do that. What happens then? Simple point like that you cannot take into consideration.
Okay, I got your point. Let me bring in Sunil Alagh. Sunil Alagh versus Junaid Matoo right now. Sunil Alagh, you know the point that Tina was making, and we have some of the facts. In one village in Karnataka called Gurmitkal village in Karnataka, Sunil Alagh, people having to travel 40 kilometers to either exchange cash or to get to the nearest ATM. In a situation like that, and that's where most of India lives, 850 million or 65% of India's population is in the rural belt. Now, could this have been planned better? It's 8 days now, and there are still many more hurdles that the government needs to address. Sunil Alagh and then Junaid Matoo will respond.
Look, I'm just quickly going to say that, look, the government is open, I think, to any valid suggestion that can come in today. One of the suggestions which could have gone is, look, this 4,000 rupees per day that you are exchanging, you allow that 4,000 rupees to run till I put all the money in. So therefore, 4,000 rupee transactions could have gone on till the 20th or 24th. So the 4,000. But the second point on the village, I just want to tell you how little that I know about UP and Bihar villages. If you are talking about an ATM machine which is 10 kilometers away or a bank which is 20 kilometers away, these people never ever went to it, okay? So there was a credit system that worked in these little villages that they are still continuing to survive. There was one guy who gave credit, he took the money and went to the bank and deposited it. So suddenly now you are saying all the villagers are running to an ATM machine, they don't have a credit card, they're all running to a bank. Please don't exaggerate. I think there are problems in execution, I accept.
Junaid
But
Matoo,
please don't exaggerate something which that means all villagers only had 500 and 1,000 rupee notes. 1 second, what you are saying is you got all the villagers in India hosting and having 500 and 1,000 rupee notes and they are no longer poor.
Yeah.
So please make up your mind what the situation is.
Yeah, Sunil
that's
Alagh.
all. I'm ending there.
Yeah.
Please come up with valid suggestions that cannot be rolled back. Any good suggestions the government will follow.
Yeah. Junaid Matoo,
That's
you know,
all.
if the
Please come up
implementation
with
was good,
constructive suggestions.
Junaid, if the
Don't just say it's a bad move.
implementation was good, would you back the government completely? If the implementation was good, if people on the ground were able to exchange their money, would you have backed the government?
Yeah. Let me make 4 quick points. Number one, let us ask questions of everybody, the opposition but the governments too. Giving sweeping, this freedom to take any decisions to the government, both by the media or both by, quote unquote independent analysts like Mr. Alagh. This is not what the Indian democracy is about. Second, you talk about the implementation versus the motive of the policy.
Sure.
A policy is
No,
only
I'm afraid
good
I disagree with you there,
implementation.
Junaid Matoo.
If the policy
you can
was
make your
implemented
points,
in a better manner, let me please finish.
But
I've
I
been hearing
completely
everybody
disagree
out.
with you there
Let me say what I have to say,
because
then you
people vote
can
for a
talk.
government
Come
so
up with
that
a
the government can
constructive
make
suggestion.
decisive action.
If there was better
People don't vote for a government to sit around and dilly-dally and not take any action.
Please let me finish.
I completely disagree with you there.
Please let me finish.
People vote for a
In
government
case
that
your
is
name
going
is
to
Junaid
take
Matoo, then
decisive
you
action.
speak.
Now, yes, in a democracy, everyone is
Let me
welcome
finish.
to
Let me
debate
answer.
and discuss it.
So
But
let
the
me answer.
government
You answer
must have the
questions that
free
I
will
asked. If you
to
let me
make
answer.
a decisive, take decisive action. Yeah, conclude your points now, please. But I had to say that.
Coming to my second point. No, I'm not going to conclude my point. I'm going to take as much time as the other panelists took.
Please
I'm
suggest
not here on your
constructive
salary.
suggestions.
The second point.
I didn't say conclude
yes,
quickly,
would the
Junaid Matoo. I just said conclude the
implementation
points that you
if the
want to make.
implementation
So
was
please,
better,
please feel
if
free
the
to make your
implementation
points.
was if the implementation was better, we would not be debating this on Times Now right now. I know that Times Now is under a compulsion to come out and defend every single step taken by the government to the extent that they don't even need spokespersons now. I don't know why Sudhanshu Trivedi is on this channel. You are doing his job.
Okay?
Junaid, we are going to, you know what, Junaid,
you've been on this show,
and it just shows that you haven't heard a single thing, because the number of questions we have asked the government with examples, with figures, with specific places, specific districts in the country, we have asked those questions because the problems being faced by people are real. So if you're going to sit here and say that we don't ask questions to the government, I'm sorry, but you have not participated in this debate at all, because you haven't heard a word.
Defend the BJP, then the BJP.
Junaid, don't get it. You know, you have a point. You have an objective point to make, Junaid. Junaid, you have an objective point to make. You can.
No, I agree.
Have
Not
a
a fair
modicum of
statement.
objectivity.
No, Junaid, 1 second. Junaid, just hold on. You know, we've given you an opportunity. Junaid, we gave you an opportunity. We gave you an opportunity. We did not feed you with answers. We asked you an objective question. We've asked objective questions from the BJP. Please be fair. Don't go on a rant.
I want to give an objective answer.
Yeah, Sudhanshu Trivedi, yes.
I want to remind our UPA counterpart, they have themselves given an data when they were in the government that what is the requirement of BPL? It is 26 rupees per day in the rural areas. It was the data of your government. As per that data, the 800 rupees are sufficient for whole month, and now you are saying 4,500 in one day is less, and it is creating misery. So, what is the stand of Congress on this data, or the UPA allies with this data? I am unable to understand. And second thing, at present, after this scheme has been implemented, there is a huge deposit in the government bank. It is around 3 lakh crore claim in the banking system.
And you knew very
huge
well
deposits have
that
come to the electricity.
Huge deposit of the laborers, the people who work in lower echelons of society who do not get
Fuad, let him speak, Fuad. Fuad,
I am unable to understand. You were saying your data of 26 rupees per day and 30 rupees per day. Now you are saying 4,500 rupees per day or less.
The hands of the poor people.
And as far as the queue is concerned, I would like to remind, it was the NDA and BJP who has created a situation in which the people of India got rid of the queue. याद करिए LPG के लिए लाइन लगती थी कि नहीं, हमने छुड़वाया पिछली गवर्नमेंट में. टेलीफोन के लिए लाइन लगती थी कि नहीं, हमने छुड़वाया. याद करिए मोबाइल के लिए लाइन लगती थी कि नहीं, हमने छुड़वाया. That's why we pledge that this is just once. The people have to stand in the queue, and definitely this government, Modi government, will get them rid of for all time in the future and will create a positive, conducive atmosphere for the economic health. And as far as the line is concerned, अरे भाई हम तो फिल्मों के लिए लाइन में लगे हैं, iPhone 7 के लिए लाइन में लगे हैं, kerosene oil के लिए लाइन में लगे हैं. Then why you are creating so much hue and cry for all this?
Sudhanshu Trivedi, I think that's an unfair comparison, but I want to bring in RK Misra here. RK Misra, Fuad, you'll get your chance to respond. Fuad, you've been speaking over everyone.
Let the process be completed. Then definitely you will be knowing that how much black money has been recovered, or it is being duly compensated by the currency.
Yeah, Fuad.
And the contraction of the economy, that price that India will have
Fuad,
to
you
pay
just
for,
don't stop, Fuad.
the middle and the small sector will have to pay for, will it be offset?
Fuad, you've made your point already. Please, you will just keep going on and on. I'm going to ask you about a policy question that you spoke of. RK Misra, you can respond to that. RK Misra, and then Fuad, I'll let you speak. I'll let you speak if you listen to me, okay? You will have to let me ask a question, because you just start, once you start talking, you just don't stop.
The
1 second.
people of India are paying with their
Okay, you're
lives.
still talking, Fuad,
They are
please.
paying with their time.
Correct.
Fuad, can you hear me, Fuad?
This gentleman will not stop. I think we should mute him.
Taken, and the BJP doesn't want to be
This gentleman will not
Yeah,
stop.
Fuad,
He
1
will
second.
not stop
BJP is not even
talking.
listening to you
There's no
right
point.
now. 1 second. RK Misra is listening to you. And ask you, RK Misra, can the left, I'm just want to toss this question to you as Fuad Halim, he's addressing something to the BJP when the BJP is not even listening to him, but he spoke about policy. When you talk about policy, just one example and a reminder to the left today. Why should anyone believe that the left has a locus to slam this policy when it was with the left government in 2009 in West Bengal, pulled up by the CAG for poor financial management and implementation strategy with regards to the midday meal scheme? The report spoke about how more than 7,321 primary schools in the state were yet to be covered in the scheme as of 2009. So that's as far as you and your policy is concerned. You will always face questions. You don't have a locus on policy. Let K Misra respond to that.
Can I come in?
The debate.
Can I come in?
No, it is because you spoke about policy. That's what I'm saying.
Compare apples and oranges.
1 second. Yeah.
That's the most unfortunate.
Let's come.
Because you spoke of policy and how you would have done things differently.
24 years.
Unfortunate defense and
Left and economic policy are oxymorons. Left and economic policies are oxymorons. In 34 years, they bankrupted West Bengal. They made it one of the poorest states. They let the industry go. They're talking about economic policy, and that is a joke. That's number one.
That doesn't answer.
That's number one. Now coming to the demonetization
today.
I think Sudhanshu Trivedi also needs to understand that there are things which can be done. For example, why can't you introduce 4 lakh mobile ATMs? If you take the mobile ATM, go to the places, fill it with 8 lakh, 20 lakhs, you can take care of lot of Gram Panchayats. That's number one. Second, now you can work on specific things. For the calibration is taking time. But there are other methods by which you can alleviate the suffering. Whereas just saying that people have been sick, please understand. Another point I want to bring. Prime Minister asked people, please be with me, and I can tell you, common man, I talked to the people. I came from a village in Sitapur in UP just 2 days ago. I was in Haryana, now I'm in Karnataka. Starting from the driver in Bangalore to the village in UP, everybody is very appreciative of it. But please don't test their patience. They are doing for the country. They are trusting the Prime Minister. They are trusting the government.
I think really well said. K Misra, really well said. I'm going to have to start winding up here, but I think on that note, it's a really important note because largely, yes, the people of this country are with the Prime Minister in this move. The common man wants black money to be completely obliterated from this country. But there are serious issues with implementation. There are people who are not hoarders of black money who are suffering, and that must be looked into very, very quickly because like K Misra said, people can and eventually will run out of patience. But until that happens, we certainly hope that something is going to be done very, very quickly. Clyde, I really have no time, but I'm going to give you 20 seconds.
Okay,
I don't have time. 20 seconds.
I want to say, what I want to say is, Mr. Sunil Alagh said, you should give constructive suggestions. Okay, after 33 deaths in the country, you want constructive suggestions. What are you thinking? 33 people have died, and now you are saying, I need constructive suggestions. Please think before you talk.
No, firstly, okay, Clyde, got your point. Firstly, the figure is unsubstantiated.
I mean, 33 people have died, and you can't say things like these right now.
That yes,
you should have thought about these things before.
Who is facing the brunt? Okay, Clyde, thanks for that. We definitely have to put this forth to the government that the common man is bearing the brunt, is doing so gladly at the moment, but there will be a point at which patience runs out, and that needs to be looked into very, very seriously. There's absolutely no question of a rollback. As Sunil Alagh said, the best thing to do would be for parties to come forth with constructive suggestions, which is exactly what the Prime Minister has also said, that come together, give us constructive suggestions, and we will implement them. We need to take this forward as a nation rather than backwards. Thank you all so much for joining us on debate number 1 tonight.